Hello guys and welcome. Today's video will be about the levering patterns and the shotgun dilemma. We will start with my favorite weapon in the game, the Winfield with 15 bullets. Unfortunately, the 50 lowers is not a swift variation, but its skin is great. We will move to the ugly cousin called Centennial and we will figure out how to control it. Personally, I don't like this gun because it's too slow and overpriced, but if you find it in a tower for free, make sure you snatch it. We will also inspect the Vandal Variations. I say variations because the recoil and the pattern of the Deadeye and the Iron Sight Vandal are very different. The variation without the Iron Sight is much easier to control and is also cheaper. I personally dislike the Deadeye scope because the zoom is not much more than the Iron Sights. We will also discuss what I call the shotgun dilemma, demonstrating why you should always use Iron Sights on shotgun from the range. I will use the 3 most common shotguns in the game, because this video is not about which one is the best, but it's about how can you get the best performance from this weapon type. Starting with the most common one, the Romero 77. We will then see the LeMat shotgun shell spread, which I personally dislike, but it's a great secondary to carry more rounds for your primary guns. This weapon has one-shot kill range of 3 meters circa and has that decent fanning pattern. And at last I will use the Coldwell Rival shotgun to demonstrate the solution to the shotgun dilemma. This shotgun has a very fast reload time and is second fastest shooting shotgun in the game. For $100, this gun is a player's favorite because it can shoot 2 rounds pretty fast with a one-shot kill range of 12 meters. Of course, we will only discuss buckshot patterns as slugs don't have a pattern. So let's get started. The Winfield with compact ammo has a very narrow crosshair that can be narrowed even more by crouching, and even without crouching and compensating the recoil, this gun is deadly in the 5 meters range. From 15 meters away, you will probably get better luck by throwing the rifle to your enemy instead of trying to hit him without compensating the recoil. If we compensate the recoil, this gun can be very deadly. There is a special technique to control this recoil, and it consists in feet movement plus recoil control. You can be deadly accurate with this levering even while moving if you learn the two-stepping technique. When you shoot the gun, you see the recoil tends to go up, so to compensate the recoil you have to do a small circle with your mouse that brings the crosshair back in place. With a little practice, you combine the two-stepping and the circles, you can obtain this result. Let's put some bullets down and let's get ready for a difficult one. The Winfield Centennial makes me feel like I kicked the table with some flip-flops and bit my lip right after. The crosshair on this gun is as wide as my butt cheeks after 7 hours of hunt, and the levering with it is a crime against humanity. It's possible to control the recoil, but it's much harder than the compact ammo counterpart. From 15 meters, this gun makes you feel drunk, sad and lonely at the same time. And to control the recoil, you need to put a lot of work in it. The recoil tends to bring the gun down right, and we need to compensate doing the opposite movement. The two-stepping technique here is vital, and to master it you will need a lot of time. Two steps in the front, one back, and recoil compensation. Now, quite easy, right? Winfield Vandal Variation have different crosshair sizes. The Deadeye one is the worst one, and it's very similar to the Centennial Variation. But being compact ammo, the recoil is less severe. From 15 meters away without controlling the recoil, the gun is useful as a doorbell in a balcony. And even if we control the recoil, the result is decent but not too good. You can try and try, but it looks like the RNG element is very strong in this variation. The pattern goes up left, so we go down right to compensate. The non-scoped variation has a much narrower crosshair and spread, and is very deadly from up close. But from the range, it still suffers a lot if you don't control the recoil. But if you do control it, you got yourself a portable Uzi. Very impressive for a Vandal variation. The recoil of this gun tends to go up middle, so we need to compensate going down middle instead of down right like the Deadeye variation. Have fun with this little devil. Now it's time for the everlasting debate on Showdown. Let's start by saying that if you use and if you don't use the iron sight of shotgun, the spread will stay the same, even if you crouch. The most important thing that you need to check on a shotgun is the kill range. For example, the Romero has a kill range of 15 meters, if 85% of the pellets lands on the target. And that's the important part, if they all land on the target. All the shotguns had different spread values, the worst one being the LeMat buckshot.
That's quite big.
Well, that's right, iDubbbz, and the kill range on this thing is roughly 3 meters. Compared to the Coldwell, it's pretty embarrassing. Now to finally clarify this point, guys, I brought a friend with me. People need to understand that the buckshot is not a single bullet. And if you don't land your shot perfectly, the enemy hunter is not going to die. Shooting a bit off will lead 50% of the pellets off the target, not killing the enemy player. Now imagine that the crosshair in hipfire is on target, but when you go on the iron sight, you're slightly off. Your enemy did not die because some pellets flew off the target and you hit him in the arm. Now if you perfectly place the iron sight in the lower chest, no pellets goes off the target. It should be simple logic, but people usually see a hit marker and they cry like baboons because the player survived. While you are moving, especially in high stress situation, it's very easy not to be perfectly on target in hipfire. And just because you hit some pellets doesn't mean the guy should die. You need to hit with a lot of pellets for him to die, especially from the range. And you need to direct the spread in the most accurate way, aka iron sights. And for the love of God, don't aim for the head from far away. If the enemy is not injured already, you probably make a halo behind him and die right after. Use those iron sights and aim for the lower chest. I promise you, you will get a lot more kills. Now that this is finally clarified, if someone tries to argue with you about this point, just show him this video and tell him to hit it. Don't forget that you can find me on Twitch and the link in the description. See you guys in the next one.